Maraming salamat po una sa lahat sa mga exposés ninyo at talaga namang malaki ang naitutulong nito sa ating bayan ngayon. Alam niyo naman po, noong una po kayong nagsalita kasama po ni PRD ay nag-react po ang Malacanang. At sinabi po ng Malacanang na kayo daw po ay nagsisinungaling, attorney. So, ano po ang masasabi ninyo doon na ngayon lumalabas na sa mga interviews ng mga congressman na iba-iba po yung kanilang panig, pero just recently po si Congressman Kimbo ay umamin na po sa wakas patungkol po diyan sa mga blankong items sa BICAM.
Good evening. Actually, let's first address yung comments ni E.S. Bersamin, no? Mataas naman ang respeto natin sa kanya, naging Chief Justice yan. At saka, pero I think everybody knows, especially yung mga who were listening to that first podcast natin sa Basta Dabawin nyo. Now, we were very clear that what we mentioned there was blank items in the BICAM report. We never mentioned blank items in the GAA. So, klaro yun. So, we even made a rejoinder na what we said was blank items in the BICAM report. And we can prove it kasi before nag-ratification, lahat ng members, more than 300 members of the House and 24 senators receive a copy in their emails. At saka yung email ko, nung nabuksan ko, December 11 yung date ng email, although late ko na nakita. Klaro yun. And a few pages lang, nagbubuksan mo, makikita mo na yung sa page SP11, meron ng blanks. So, that's why gi-bring up ko. And na timing dito si PRD, nandito si Attorney Vic, si Attorney Delgra. Same place, dito kami nagkita-kita noon. Nung pinakita ko sa kanila, so everybody's shocked. Ako rin nung nakita ko sa email, sa aking pagbukas ko na aking email, nung nakita ko yung BICAM report, I was also shocked kung bakit pinirmahan yung BICAM report na may mga blanco. And it's not one or two, but 28 blank items in 13 pages. So, ano talaga ito? It's a big issue na dapat masagot talaga ng BICAM members.
Sir, ito pong inyo pong inahain sa Supreme Court. Ano po bang inaasahan ng taong bayan dito?
After the long discussions, the long story, simulan natin sa kung bakit natin file yung kaso na yan. First and foremost, the framers of our Constitution envisioned a budget or a General Appropriations Act that will give priority attention in terms of allocation sa ating education. And we say education, buong education sector, and that should be the number one. And hindi lang framers of our Constitution, I think it is but proper and fitting for each one of us na dapat education talaga tayo mag-concentrate because we are not born equal. May mga anak ng mayaman, may mga anak ng may mga pobre, lalo na dito sa amin sa Mindanao, maraming mga anong tawag naman yan, isang kahig, isang tuka, no? The only chance for us to get an equalizer is through education. Wala nang iba eh. So mag-aral na mabuti, katapos, and through education, we might be able to learn how to improve our lives, improve our economic status. So it is only through education na pwede maging equalizer. And aside from that, on the overall development, socio-economic development ng ating bayan, that is, I would say, that is the only way we can make ourselves, the Filipinos, highly competitive or globally competitive. Kung educated yung ating mga kababayan, we will have an educated and healthy society. We can compete with the other with other countries in the world. So, na-shock ako dahil na-overtake ang budget ng education sector, na-overtake ng public works ng DPWH. So kung ikaw ay isang taong may malasakit sa iyong bansa, may malasakit sa iyong bayan, well, I did not say that infra is not needed. Yes, it is needed, but yung infra mo dapat nagfa-follow sa ating economic development plan, kasi meron tayong economic development plan Yung infra na nasa economic development plan, yun yung nasa regular program ng DPWH, kasi approve ng NEDA yun, approve ng DBCC, approve yun ng infra committee doon sa NEDA. Yung mga insertions, katulad nung nangyari sa budget, 288 billion insertions of infrastructure at nilampasan yung education sector, that is not anymore in accordance with the economic development plan. Ang nangyari niyan, that is already a kind of yung gusto ng miyembro ng BICAM panel na nagsingit, pet projects nila. Nung araw, ang tawag niyan, pork barrel. Pet projects, siningit, ang infra. Ang problema, nakalimutan nila na naglampas na sila at na-overtake nila yung education sector. And it's very clear in our constitution na number one priority, which we all must agree. Kung ikaw ay isang congressman o senador, bear that in mind. Number one, huwag kang maglampas sa nakasaad sa ating saligang batas. The Constitution says give priority to education. Now, when you approve the BICAM and you have overtaken, sabi ko, you have overtaken the budget of the education sector, nalampasan ng infrastructure, something is wrong. So nag-research na talaga ako. So haba-haba ng aking research, may part 1, may part 2, may part 3 ako sa aking research. Klaro yun kasi yung President's message sa budget, siya nasabi niya na 977 billion, number 1, yung budget ng education sector, 977 billion. Tapos yung number 2 is the budget of the DPWH, which is 900 billion. Then pagdating sa BICAM, binawasan ng 31 billion yung education sector. Tapos dinagdagan ng 288 billion ang budget ng DPWH. So, simple arithmetic, simple mathematics, nahabol talaga. So yun, pinag-aralan ko. And while I was studying, nakita ko na yung mga black items. So after discussing this with the lawyers, and alam naman natin that these are not mere typographical errors. Blanco 28 blank items. Hindi mo pwedeng basta-bastang ma-disregard yan at sabihin blanco. No, it's not. May mali talaga. Highly questionable at pinirmahan At hindi lang pinirmahan, ratified ng dalawang houses of Congress. Both houses of Congress has ratified the bicameral conference committee. So hindi mo na pwedeng baguhin yun after ma-ratify. So yun na nga ang question, kung bakit pagdating doon sa GAA, kompleto na. Ang aming tinatanong ay bakit sa BICAM report. So we found that a very highly questionable issue. Kaya we had the lawyers study it and made the legal research. Ano ang mga existing mga jurisprudence, legal basis. So we all decided na dapat magpasa na talaga at isampa na ito sa Supreme Court. Dahil that's the only recourse. Na pirmahan na at approve ng budget and it's now undergoing implementation. So the only way na ma-correct ito is is to go to the Supreme Court and request the Supreme Court to declare it invalid and unconstitutional. So that's the real reason. Yan ang pinaka-reason at pinaka-background kung bakit kami nag-file.
Well, Congressman Ungab, kayo po ay nagsilbi bilang dating appropriations chair o chairman noong panahon ni Pinoy at ni PRD. Noon po bang mga panahon na yon nangyayari po ito or nangyari na po itong mga blankong mga items na ito?
Never na nangyari. Meron nga yung isang secretary ba yun, Yusek o ASEC ng DBM nagsasabi na normal daw yun na left blank. No, it never happened kasi naging chairman ako twice ng appropriation chairman at saka appropriations committee at saka naging vice chairman din ako. It never happened kasi nagbabasan man ako ng BICAM report. At saka challenge ko nga siya mag-present ka ng isang bicameral committee ko conference report na merong blanco. I doubt kung makaproduce kayo. Assuming nakaligtaan, siguro 1 or 2, but when you say nakaligtaan 28 blank items, hindi pwede yan. 28 blank items, 13 pages na may blanco, hindi pwede yan. So, it never happened in the past. And during my time, mas maganda pa ngayon kasi na-remember ko yung produkto ng House na GAB. Gagawa namin ng summary yun at saka yung produkto ng Senate na GAB. Gagawa ng summary. Ilagay mo side by side, gagawa ka ng matrix. Then look at the difference of the variances. So doon ka magsimula sa yung bicameral conference committee. So mas madali noong araw Ang nangyari kasi ngayon, binago talaga lahat at it seems naging third chamber yung bicameral conference committee.
Pero sinasabi po nila, Congressman, na ang kanila pong sinasabi ngayon is yun daw pong BICAM report ay hindi naman daw po siya constitutional in a sense na hindi pa naman siya batas. So, hindi daw ito papansinin ng Supreme Court. Ano pong masasabi ninyo doon?
Diyan sila nagkamali because bicameral tayo Meron tayong House, meron tayong Senate. Yung produkto ng House at produkto ng Senate, magkaiba. Dahil iba yung produkto, gawin mong i-harmonize mo o kuhan mo. Mag-uupo sila para mag-agree, i-reconcile yung difference. So, for it to be reconciled, kailangan mo ng bicameral conference committee at pa nag-agree na, gagawa ka na ng report, bicameral conference committee report. Saan ka kukuha ng basis para sa GAA mo kung wala kang bicameral conference committee report? So, you cannot jump. This is for your enrolled bill is the bicameral conference committee report. So, you cannot disregard the bicameral conference committee report. You cannot belittle it because whatever figures are in that reconciled bicameral conference committee report, yun dapat ang lalabas sa yung enrolled bill ng General Appropriations Act. Or kung General Appropriations Act, yun na yung mapipirmahan na yung presidente. So, mali yung nagsasabi ng gano'n.
Hihingan ko lang po kayo ng opinion patungkol doon sa, kasi kung makikita nyo, kumakalat po sa social media noong mga unang araw, umiiwas itong si Chairman Kimbo sa mga tanong patungkol dito, and then yesterday, ito po yung eksaktong sinabi niya, at the point of signing by the BICAM members ay lahat naman po ng appropriations or amounts have already been decided upon. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng naging correction sa ating technical staff, lahat po yan ay ministerial na lamang. Ibig sabihin, calculator activity na lang po. Ano pong masasabi ninyo doon?
Kung determine nila ang amount, bakit hindi nila sinulat sa bicameral conference committee report? Second, there is no such thing as ministerial correction. Because kung titingnan mo yung bicameral conference committee report sa last part, meron doon nakasulat omnibus motion. And that omnibus motion, at saka every year meron yung omnibus motion So, halos may memorize ko na nga yan. Yung omnibus motion allows the technical staff, no, the technical working group to make the necessary corrections for grammatical, typographical at printing errors lang. You cannot fill in the blanks because that is not grammatical error, that is not typographical error, that is not a printing error. Yung blank mo, possible pa nga equivalent to zero yun eh. Yung i-reflect mo doon. But when you change it, that is not anymore typographical error. So, mali yung sagot niya.
And ano rin po ang masasabi ninyo doon sa sinabi ni Senator Tito Sotto? Kasi alam naman po natin, yung pong posisyon na yan, usually binibigay po talaga sa mga yung matatagal ng mga kongresista. And alam naman po natin na itong mga kongresistang na humawak nitong posisyon na to sa administrasyon na to ay mga bago lang. At sinabi po ni Tito Sotto or dating Senate President Tito Sotto, some of our legislators need to undergo parliamentary rules and procedures workshop. Ministerial corrections by technical staff are never allowed in any bill, much more a law. You bring it back to the plenary. Ano pong masasabi niyo?
Tama, correct. Experience na at saka nag-aaral yan si Senator Sotto. Yung maalala ko, yung halos magkasabayan sila ni Senator Ping na nag-aaral sa budget. Yung sinabi ni Senator Sotto, tama yun. Pag may mali ka doon sa Bicameral Conference Committee report, you can only correct it by bringing it back again to the plenary. Ito problema, inapprove na nila at pinirmahan na at na-ratify na. So, you cannot bring it back anymore to the plenary kasi napirmahan na ng presidente. At the budget is already undergoing implementation. So, tama yun. Nung araw, bago ka maging chairman, dapat vice chairman ka, working vice chairman ka talaga matagal. So, at saka may mga seminars yan noong araw, yung mga congressman at senators. So, tama yung sinasabi ni Senator Sotto, mag-seminar muna kayo.
Isa pa po, ito pong sagot ng Malacanang, sila po yung kauna-una sumagot doon sa inyo pong inilabas ni Pangulong Duterte nung kayo po ay nag-podcast. Ano po kaya sa tingin ninyo, bakit sila nag-react ng mali doon sa maganda naman sanang adhikain ninyo? And isa pang tanong is, do you think na morally dapat ang Malacanang nanghihingi or humihingi ng paliwanag dito sa mga issues na ito?
Actually, in any agency, lalo na yung executive department, you have a lot of technical consultants at saka ang dami mong kabinete dyan, may economic team ka. So, the economic team, particularly the DBM, should have briefed. Dapat i-briefing yung president at saka executive secretary na ito yung issue. Kasi mali talaga yung statement because what we were referring to clearly and unequivocally, yung sinabi namin blank items in the BICAM report. We never mentioned about GAA. So, kaya lumaki tuloy yung issue kasi mali yung sagot.
And final question na lang po. Alam natin medyo busy si Congressman Ungab. Do you think you deserve an apology for itong mga politiko na ito na tinatawag kayong mga fake news peddlers at kayo daw ay sinungaling?
Actually, alam naman nila yun from the start. Alam nila yun. Nagsasabi ng sinungaling. Alam nila yun. Hindi naman bobo mga yan. Alam nila. Some of them are really nahiya lang talaga sila magsabi na nagkamali sila. At dalawa lang nagkamali or tanga sila.
Okay, final message na lang po kung Ungab sa mga Pilipino ngayon na talagang nakaabang dito sa issues na ito, kasi alam naman natin ang dami nilang mga pinapuputok ngayon ng mga problema para maging smokescreen. Ano po ang inyong masasabi sa mga Pilipino
sa aking mga kababayan, there are two basic items for, according to the late Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, key to development, education, and good governance. Yung education natin pinabayaan dito sa budget. Education should be number one. Wag nating pabayaan ang edukasyon because that is the future of our country. That's the equalizer between the rich of the poor, between poverty and wealth, that will also help us become globally competitive. Two, good governance. Without good governance, never dream, never of hope na tayo ay makaabot pa ng, I would say, highly developed country or developed country. Why? Because looking back after the World War II, we were number 2 to Japan. We almost have in the same rank. We were in the lower grade of Japan, lower rank of Japan. Years that followed, patras tayo ng matras. Nahabol na nga tayo ng last na nakahabol sa atin, yung Vietnam in the 90s. Huwag nating hintayin pa na mahabol pa tayo ng Cambodia at ng Bangladesh. We have to wake up. Good governance is the key. Kaya nga ako lumabas kasi sabi ko, hindi lang ito sa Supreme Court. I am opening the issue to the Filipino people. Why? Because matanda na ako, may apo na ako. Gusto ko lang malaman ng ating mga kababayan na may pag-asa pa ang Pilipinas.